Okay. Hello everyone. Sorry, a bit late. So my bad. I'm actually just arrived. I had actually just arrived from traveling just an hour ago, and I'm bit. So just wake up, and yeah, it caused me to be late. This is our first session in non Indonesian language in English. Our guest is already here, Hazel. She's my old friend from when I work in Glintz. And yeah, without further ado, let's welcome Hazel. Hazel, how are you?
Hi everyone. I'm doing well, and it's so nice to finally meet you on video again after so many years. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you? Where are you at the moment?
So right now I'm in Singapore, and yeah, that's where I'm based at right now.
Okay. Let's start by introducing yourself, Hazel. Can you tell us a bit about yourself? What do you do? And then let's go from there.
Yeah, I've been a PM for 4 to 5 years, and before that I was doing digital marketing. So I grew my product management career at Glintz, which is where I met Brian. It's a HR recruitment tech company, and there I built several B2C products. One of them, which I am most proud of, is a career discovery and development platform for Indonesians. And then after that, I wanted to try out fintech. So I got a very cool opportunity to work on a fintech product at Delivery Hero. So I made the move there. And 1 year in, due to some regulation stuff, we didn't manage to launch the product. So right now I'm working on a very exciting part of Food Panda, which is the subscriptions for delivery, for subscriptions for food delivery. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I really thought you'll be spending a longer time in Glintz because I think you're really close with the founders over there. How long did you stay in Glintz? What year did you leave?
I was there for 4 years. So from 2017, I started freelancing in Glintz, and then 2018, I joined in full time, and then I left at 2021. It was a very exciting journey, and I think looking back, I learned a lot, and also learned from you about building products. So it was a great journey.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I really remember the career discovery program platform. It's I think I found that it's gaining momentum and there's a lot of events being held, but lately I don't see it much of its buzz lately, right? So what happens? Do you know? Is it the timing? Is it match your living or what happens? If you
Yeah,
know
I'm
it,
I'm not 100% sure what happened now, but I think at one point we decided to hand over the product to be managed by the marketing team. So then they help to grow it. And I'm not sure if that's still the focus of the company right now.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Hazel, I usually held this talk every Saturday afternoon where we speak about product management, leadership, and career. And yeah, the topic today will be on what's life as a multinational, as a PM that works in a multinational company. And I think you've been in a lot of companies with multinational team. I'm definitely quite surprised the first time I'm working in a multinational team, which is in Glintz.
Yeah.
There are some, uh, frankly, there are some team members that the accent I have a hard time to understand. And at the moment, me myself are planning to move. We is moving to another office. I'm leaving the current my current position and joining another team, and it will be another multinational team. So this also serve as a practice for me to practice my English. I haven't used it in a long time because I've worked in a lot of Indonesian team.
Yeah.
So yeah, my first question would be you're a Singaporean, right? So, what's your first job actually looks like? You mentioned that you first started as a digital marketer. So, did is that your first job, and where? Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. So I studied business and majored in marketing in university. So the most natural thing to, did I lose you, Ryan? Okay.
No, no, no,
No.
no. I
Okay, you're in the backstage.
just made you on purpose.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I studied business and majored in marketing at university, and I think the next natural like thing to do after graduation was to be a marketer. So I got this very exciting opportunity to build like a webinar, online webinar from scratch. And I worked very closely with the founder to build this product. And I was responsible for everything like the programming, finding speakers, building the website, sending out email campaigns. It was quite a short project for like 3 to 4 months. And I learned a lot in that process, especially since it was my first job, and that's what I did.
Okay. Is that in Glints? No, right? It's another company, right?
No, it was another company. Yeah,
Okay. So how's the journey until you land in Glints, and why? Are
yeah.
you a digital nomad back then, or are
So
you
yeah,
still
I
staying?
was a nomad back then. It was very
Okay.
cool because when I saw the job description, it wrote like it was remote, and then like who knew that we got the offer, right? So I signed it, and then the founder told me, oh, you can just work from anywhere because she also works from anywhere. She's also from Singapore. So I Googled like, okay, working remotely, digital nomad, and then I chanced upon all these YouTube videos about people traveling, working from Thailand, and I think like I fell in love with the concept because I always knew that I wanted to leave the country, but I didn't know how. And so when I started my first job, I went to Thailand and started working remotely from there.
Okay. Okay. So I'm always wondering back then, yeah, but never got to ask. Why are you choosing the life as a digital nomad? Why?
Why? Uh, yeah, that's a good question. I value freedom a lot, and I think like being a digital nomad allows you to travel and experience different things. The other thing is about experiencing different cultures and like seeing more of the world. I think in the past I had the privilege to travel a lot every year, and while I was growing up, but I never really truly interacted and experienced the local culture. And being a digital nomad allows you to live in a place for an extended period of time, really immerse yourself and understand the local culture more. And at the same time, you're living like a normal life, right? You're
Mm.
working in the day, and then at night you can like hang out with people, go out, experience new things.
Okay, that sounds cool. But your day job will be with people that is of the same culture with you, right? So in your office, yeah, is it, or is it different?
You mean same culture as in
I think
same
Singaporean,
nationality?
yeah, but Singaporean is international culture.
Yeah, I think like so after that first job, then I became a freelance marketer. So I was always working for Singapore companies, but I always was working in an international team. So like the next
See.
one of the freelance work that I did after that was this design studio, and it was 100% distributed company, so it's like very aligned with like what I wanted to do. And everyone was like working from different places, some from Europe, some from other parts of Asia. And and then I never looked back. Like after that, I also worked for Techlins and worked with like many Indonesians, and now at Delivery Hero is also a very diverse team.
Oh, okay. So just to be sure, have you worked for a company that is not remote previously, or is it 100% remote from the start?
So when I was doing internships,
Okay.
I did work at like a full time in the office job. So one of them was at Johnson and Johnson, the pharmaceutical company. I worked there for 6 months as an intern. That was like my full time office job.
You wear like suits like that, or is it like just your playing out clothes?
It's a bit like business casual, so it's not as casual
Not-
as the startup, working in a startup.
Okay, okay. So um, does that experience as an intern in Johnson and Johnson then and influence your take on getting job with remote policy? Because now maybe it's a lot more options, but back then I don't think that back then there's a lot of options. There's so little choice for those who wants to work remotely, right?
Yeah, I don't think that was even something anyone thought of back then.
Yeah.
And I think my experience at Johnson Johnson only taught me that I also interned at other startups. So I think all my experiences at internships taught me that okay, I want to work at a startup. So that's why I started working at startups. And when it comes to the remote thing, it wasn't something I had in mind. It was just completely by chance and luck.
Okay, so the initial is not the remote thing, but the startup. But then why work at startups?
Why? I think I prefer like the more flat culture, flat structure, and there are less bureaucracy, and like you can learn a lot of things and get things. You can wear multiple hats and learn a lot of things along the way. So I think that's what I really liked about like the startup culture. And I also wanted to do something in tech. So yeah, I think startup just was a natural progression from that.
Okay, okay, that sounds fun. Then a question about your life as digital nomad. Which places have you been working from? So tell me about the places, and then what's the difference? What's memorable about them, and why?
Yeah, so my top favorite place, everyone who knows me know. My favorite place is Koh Lanta. It's a very remote island just south of Krabi, 2 hours drive from Krabi main town. So it's a it's a place where there's no Starbucks, there's no McDonald's, and you really live like a very chill
What's the
life.
name?
Koh Lanta.
Kolanda. How do you spell that?
Let me spell it. Lanta. Yeah. KOHLANTA.
Sorry.
KOH. Oh, I typed in our
K-
chat.
Oh
KOH
yeah. You
LANTA.
need to send it. Oh yeah. Okay. So Kolanda. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Cool. I'll definitely go browse about that. So please continue on.
Yeah, it's a super it's an island. It's it's not very big. It has like 10,000 inhabitants, and it mainly has like a two-way street going through the entire island. So, but there's quite a nice. The reason why I went there was because there's a very nice community and a co-working space called Co-Hub. So when I first started working, that was like the place that I went to and met a lot of other nomads there. So that's like my top place. And I think Thailand is a very friendly place to be in. Like the locals are very friendly. They speak English. It's just very tourist friendly place. And of course, like everyone likes that it's also affordable and has many stunning sceneries. So I think another popular place in Thailand is Chiang Mai. So that's like all the way in the north, and it's near the mountains, and they have very nice weather during the winter time. Can be like 18 degrees in the day, so it's very cooling and very nice. Thailand is like my top favorite. The other place that I go to is Poland because my partner is from there, and I work from many cities in Poland. So that's also super nice. And I think I found out that I like the beach. So last year we worked from the beach in Poland as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I noticed you like beach a lot. Gitu.
Yeah.
So yeah, what other than because it's a beach, you have already told us about why you like Kolanta. What do you find different about those places compared to others? I mean, you told me just now that you visited Poland, but I
Mm.
believe there's not only one beach in Poland, right? So there should be many. Did you visit them? What do you think compared to beaches in Thailand? What your experience working in Poland? In Poland, in not in the beaches city. So yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I think. Let's talk about the beaches first. Yeah, I think in the tropical island all year round you can go to the beach and like sit there, and the weather is like hot. But of course, like in Europe, the beaches can get cold, and it was a very cool experience because in the autumn time I was walking by the beach, and then we asked friends if people visit the beach during winter, and they do. They even jump into the freezing ice cold water in the winter time. Yeah, I haven't experienced that yet. Like, maybe
Oh,
someday.
okay.
Yeah, and there's like snow on the beach, so that it's just completely different. In terms of what were your other questions? In terms of like just the experience, right?
Yeah,
Why?
about the experience living in places not like beach lah, in cities. Yeah.
Mm.
Why you like beach more? Can you explain more about that? And what makes every city is every city different? Yeah, and yeah, just explain to us the difference between those two places.
Yeah, I think I think city is like you have its, generically speaking, cities have their own. It has like a lot more conveniences than like being a beach area, unless you're going to Bali, which is like a great combination of both. So,
Okay.
but I think why I truly like something that's more like nature-ish is because I grew up in a huge city. There is nature, but it's very constructed and planned. It's like 100% perfect kind of situation. So I realized that I really like being in nature and just like being able to calm myself down, or like just being more zen after a busy day at work and just being able to watch the sunset. And that's just such an amazing experience which I cannot get when I live in a big city. So I also do like a lot of cities in Poland or like Chiang Mai. They are like much smaller cities than Singapore, and that's also quite cool because you can just walk everywhere. Everywhere is just like 20 minutes public transport away, and yeah, and you still get the conveniences. But then at the end of the day, what I make my decision on like where to stay, apart from cost and the temperature, the weather, and the scenery, is also the community there. Because when you travel as a nomad, you want to make friends, and yeah, so like having a good co-working space that focuses a lot on community is key. And I think Kolanda like does a great job at that.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So now moving to the walking part of your life, right? When you move around, okay, it's most of it is in the same time zone, but
Mm.
you will be working with people in other time zone, and you've moved to Poland for a while, right? How do you manage the working time, the difference between time zones? How do you make yourself comfortable working in different time? Tell us about it.
Yeah, I think the first is just like getting used to it and like accepting it that there are some trade-offs to be made. So because I was always working for like a Singapore company, and when I went to Poland, I had agreement with my boss to say that, hey, I will get the work done, but I will work earlier, start my day earlier so that I will have at least 4 hours overlap. And I think this 4 hours overlap rule was something I got from the design studio I work with, because we were working with people in Europe and Asia, and they found like this sweet spot, like minimum 4 hours overlap. So that was how I used this rule whenever I went to Poland. And that means sometimes in the winter, it will be starting the day at like 7 or even 6 a.m. So it's very early. And I just have to like make do with it, because that's the trade-off I have to make. And that's the life I want, right? If I want to be in Poland, I have to wake up earlier. The great part is that like the second half of the day, when you can like really focus and do deep work, and then you end your day really early, and then you can just go out and do something else. So that's what I like. But of course, being in the same time zone is still much easier. And so I'm not in Europe for like more than half a year, because then it's quite a lot of time zone differences for a long time. Yeah.
Okay. Then about languages. So it's maybe classic for people with English as first language and their mother tongue. But do you have any problem speaking with people from other countries with different dialects? And what do you do? Because frankly, when I'm speaking with English people, it's good. I understand completely, 95% lah. But when it comes to people from that their mother tongue is not English,
Mm.
then it the rate that I understand them, it drops to 60%, 65%. I have to think a lot what they mean. And
Yeah.
yeah, have you ever experienced that? And what do you do?
So to be honest, I never experienced that before. I think just being because like maybe as a native speaker, it's just easier to pick up the nuances. And I think in Singapore, it's also very multi national,
Mhm.
right? So I think we do hear a lot of different kind of accents from around the world speaking English. So kind of like used to it. But yeah, I can understand like sometimes it might be hard to identify. Are you thinking of how to overcome that obstacle?
Yeah, it's really a challenge, and especially if you speak with someone that have unique dialects, and then they speak so fast, it's
Yeah.
very hard. And usually I will ask, can you repeat that again, or can you write that? And I feel bad because of doing that. But yeah, I don't know what should I do, right? Because yeah, that's what I feel and what happens to me. That's why
Yeah.
I'm now being I feel a bit worried, uh, because
Right.
I will be working in an international team again. Um, Next question then, Hazel. So, what do you see the difference between working with people from only one country, yeah, from Singapore maybe, and working with people from different countries and backgrounds? The people first, yeah, and then later we will touch on the company. But what do you feel that is different? What's good in both sides and bad in both sides?
Yeah, I think one thing is just like the cultural nuance of working together. So in general, the companies that I work with, even though we come from different like nationalities, we have like the same work ethics and same values. So it's quite easy to drive things together. And what I appreciate about this like diversity is that when let's say when you're brainstorming some product ideas, you have people like drawing their experiences from very different things, like for example, my friend was working at agriculture tech company, and he also has a farm in India. So
Hmm.
like it's just such a different experience, right? And I don't have some concrete examples on how it differentiates our brainstorming sessions, but it's just like super interesting to know that there's a different way of life out there. And I think when it comes to like competitor, easiest example is like competitor analysis, right? Someone could bring like an app from Europe or like an app from China, and you will see like the massive differences in the user experience and the UI. So that's what I like about the diversity of different countries. And I guess if you're in the same working from the same nationality, the background and cultural nuance, or like even the slang words. The other day, I told my boss like, okay, you want to tapao something, and then she was like, why is tapao? I thought like she's already immersed in Singapore slang, right? And I realized, oh no, she doesn't know what this is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's true. It's really fun to speak your local language, right? So in my local city, there's a different dialects and a way to speak, so to say. And yeah, it's really fun to finally meet someone that understand that we speak, how we speak that, right?
Mm.
But you mentioned something really interesting to me just now about people having different background and tell different product ideas. As a PM, you need to decide on things, right? And I don't know because I most of my team is most of the segment target market back then when I was in Greece is Indonesians,
Yeah.
but you are working in a multinational team and your segment is not just one country, right?
Yeah.
How do you deal with these different ideas, decide what's appropriate for one country, what's not, and how do you convince your team member?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's about like the logical part and the data analysis part of it. So when we're
Mm,
building products now, I will so focus on, even though we're building for like multiple countries in APAC, I will focus on the like biggest markets, right? That we have, like the top three biggest markets that most of our users are in, and kind of get more of the nuance and feedback from them, and then build a baseline product from there. And yeah, so that's how I would build a product. And in terms of prioritization, it's still at the end of the day like the impact, the effort, the reach. Yeah.
okay, so same old rice prioritization
Mm.
method. Do you have any like, have you ever been challenged by someone living from somewhere that they feel they know better than you because you haven't lived in those places, and challenging your priority or your decision as a product manager?
Uh, not that I recall, but I think I remember one moment that um we were building the Glints Discovery product, and I think we were referencing quite a bit from the Chinese apps. And then there was this statement made that okay, like the Chinese app is like the Chinese market is like very similar to Indonesia. And I remember someone else saying that no, it's so different, right? And we cannot just take like one from the other. So I think that was like the only time I remember this happening, although that statement wasn't from me. Yeah, I think it's still important to be very careful of the cultural nuance. Like, I remember once when we were building the Greens Discovery, that was the our designer put an image of a dog in the banner, and then I was like, okay, no, please don't, please don't add that inside. Please change it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if that's the case, then Hazel, so do you agree that there's actually not much difference being a PM for a multinational team, multi-country target, compared to being a PM where you actually live in the country as your target market with your working co-located with your teams, or are there any difference that you might know but haven't mentioned?
Co-located with the team, but are you from the same place, or are you like an outsider, or
Same place, same background.
right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of difference. I can't actually comment about the second one because I feel like I haven't been doing that. I haven't been working with a lot of Singaporeans for a Singapore market. I actually never really built any product for Singapore. So can't comment on that. I will assume that there will be differences. But yeah, I think it's also super important to respect like the different cultural the important to respect the cultural differences that may come, and also like understanding different like social economic backgrounds, because one person could be from a developing country whereas one person could be from a developed country. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting point. So one thing about being conscious of you who you target to your target market, right, is being able to understand their spending power, what their mind works, how their
Yeah.
mind works. But in different places, this is a bit a lot of nuances are covering those areas, right? Even me myself, I found that in Indonesia, when we say this is a middle class, what we imagine as a middle class and what's the actual middle class that's being researched
Right.
vastly differs. So how do you walk around this different in understanding issues? Because for example, when we mention middle class, we will, for example, maybe people will think about people with more than 10 million a month at least salary, with something like that, and then um, um, able to at least loan a car,
Mm.
for example. But what I see, the how we define the segmentation is as a middle class is someone that is like far lower than that, maybe half than that. So yeah, have you ever faced those kind of challenges, or you've never faced those kind of challenges?
I think not now so far, not that specific challenge. But I would say when I was creating the one of the fintech products, it was for a group that is like far removed from us. So, and I think we had a lot of ideas on like what this persona is, what the person needed, and the most simple thing is to like ask them. So we conducted some user interviews and surveys, and we kind of understand like their saving behavior more, and then we're like, oh wow, like they actually, because they really use a lot of cash, which is very different from like how we spend right now, right, which is a lot more digital. And
How
like
you
they see
spend, not me.
how I
How you
spend,
spend?
yeah. How I spend, I think like how people in like some cities spend. No, I'm
Yeah.
imagining that in Indonesia it's also very high tech, right, when it comes to
Oh,
so,
not yet.
no,
Not
not yet.
yet. Not yet. We're
Okay,
not that far. A lot of transactions still uses cash, but yeah, we're moving towards digital payment.
okay,
But
yeah.
uh, like a big part of it is still in cash.
Okay. I Yeah. Okay. So that was a gross overstatement. Yeah, but I have the impression that like in Philippines, not in Philippines, in Indonesia, you also use a lot of QR code, QR payment and things
Just
like that.
lately,
Yeah,
and
just
it's
lately.
still like, yeah, it's still not that much, not that many.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah, please
yeah.
continue on that, continuing on that, yeah, because you haven't found any difference on that. um then what, since you haven't worked in a company where you work with fully local people, and you've been working with multinational people, do you see any difference from when your teammates are the first time working in multinational settings? Like for me, for example, first time I work in Glintz, that's my first multinational team. Do you see something annoying about someone like me back then, or how we should improve for those people that wanted to try multinational setting or apply to uh, uh, companies in overseas?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So right now, I don't have an answer, but I will continue to observe, because like one of the new PMs that joined my team is came from like 100% Singapore company, and he also wants to work in one diverse one. But so far, I don't see any like struggles and stuff. Yeah, maybe I don't know more. Yeah,
There's a comment from Yodi that
language
language
barrier.
barrier makes, and that's cannot be closer to the truth. Because it's hard, because you know what you want to say, but at least for me, yeah, it's a challenge to uh, arrange words to say and convey the meaning correctly, at least
Right.
for me.
Right. And do you find any other difficulties when you first joined the different cultures in Glints?
The cultures, no, see, so because it's I've been exposed to many cultures, yeah, so I know, and I'm quite open. But yeah, it's the problem is only the language, because some is using different dialects, not the Singaporean, because Singaporean uses good English, and I understand that. But some uh, from Hong Kong, and then some from, yeah, I think it's some from Hong Kong is a bit unique with their dialogue, with their dialect. So it's poses a challenge. And the other way is explaining something is a bit hard. Maybe only 80% of how I actually am. Like now, I'm struggling to find words. Yeah.
Okay, can't tell. Can't tell. Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I guess I
mm,
understand. Yeah. Yeah, you were saying.
about working in multinational company, Hazel, I don't think you ever have any problem with that. But uh, maybe for us, yeah, for those who haven't really worked in another multinational company, um, is there any tips on what we should look at, what we should prepare, what's difference for preparing for interview with those kind of companies?
Oh, preparing for interviews with those companies. Wow, that's a tough one. I never thought about I never thought about like the nuance of like working at MNC, you know. Um, hmm.
Not MNC, just the startup you are working is actually an MNC, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is a multinational company. But I think the usual interview prep applies. So I don't think that's something like very, very different. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think there are
Okay, so
differences?
I don't think there is, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of difference in considering whether to accept the offer or not,
Yeah.
especially if you are expected to move, and then
Mhm.
about, yeah, the salary adjustment, the living costs, and so on. I think that's I've received many offers, but really hesitant to move and haven't decided to move out of Indonesia yet, because I have so many kids.
Yeah.
It makes it hard. But yeah, even without that, it's still hard to consider if this is the right thing to do. What do you think about that, Hazel?
Mm. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like what your goals are and whether the companies align with your career goals and also align with your values. So like if you want to join like a company that is only operating in that specific location and has is a great product company, then it's like and you have no strings attached. I mean like no family burden. Not family burden, but family to take care of, then you will go for that. But otherwise, I think there's a lot more consideration.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
Vietnam clinic.
on the Vietnam, have you ever visited Vietnam or work over there?
I have not. I know it's so close, but I
Really?
have not. Yeah.
Why?
It's still on my bucket list. Didn't get a chance to do it at Glyn's because I was just so focused on the Indonesia market, and then COVID happened, and then haven't been to Vietnam. Have you been?
No, not yet. Ying Chong is in Vietnam, right? Now he's heading Vietnam's expansion, right?
Oh yes, yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you ever plan to go somewhere, you should visit Vietnam. I'm interested in visiting, but yeah, as usual, I don't find a reason strong enough to pull me out of Indonesia yet.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think there are
Uh,
so many interesting.
you were saying?
Yeah, there are so many interesting problems and products to work on in Indonesia. So yeah, I don't see why you would want to move out.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you have any tips, Hazel, for negotiating with multinational companies? Because it might be different. I don't know, but it might be different, right? So, have any tips?
Mm, I would I wouldn't add the like difference, yeah, but like um I think one thing I learned along my interview journey is in I don't know about rest of the world, but it's quite common in Singapore for them to ask your expected salary. So just say no. So one thing that has worked really well is to like I delay it. So I say like okay, I would prefer not to discuss it further until understand more about the job, and can we discuss it further when until I have the offer, and just be very firm about it because recruiters will try to push you to get a figure, especially the headhunters. And then you might be putting yourself in a not so good position because either you didn't think of the figure beforehand and then you lowball yourself, or you could have gotten like a better number anyway, right? If you had more time to think about it. And one tip that I had from a friend is he now doesn't even give them the figure. When they ask for the expected salary, he just says, "What is your budget?" And I think that's the next thing I will try next time. Asking for the budget and not even telling them what you have in mind. Um, and in Singapore, I think, yeah. So in Singapore, we do have a website where employers are required to put the salary range. So it's very good to
Mm.
check a website like that. Um, I don't remember what if there's such a website in Indonesia, but if there is, like, check that out. I think when we were working on Glenn's Discovery, we also found this website called Teamline, and it's in the US. But they sometimes do list down some of the local pay as well, like Singapore pay. So yeah, always use that as a reference point or ask around to know what the range is before you negotiate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the tips is similar because um, when I was moving from this company to the next one, I found that a lot of people don't even know that their next salary don't have to be tied to what they last received. I mean, people
Oh
usually being asked their last 3 months payslip, right? And
yeah.
people don't know that they can not provide that. They can do that and have higher offering. So I've just learned that, and I've been practicing,
Yeah.
and the higher I got is very surprising. And yeah, I'm really happy to practice that.
So what do you do? So apart from like not showing them your pay slip or something, then what do you do? Do you actually tell them your expected salary?
No, no, I always delay, right? But
Yeah.
and then negotiate on the more detailed stuff like insurance, benefits, those kind of stuff, one by one. And it got delayed, and then asking the actual range. And then when I got pushed, it depends on me whether I like the company or not. When I like it, I give higher range. Usually, startups gets around 25 to 30% increment when you move company, right? That's
Mm.
what I know. That's what my friends get by default.
Mm. Yeah.
But if you like the company, you can set the expected to 30 to 50, 30 to 60% increment.
Yeah.
But when you have nothing to lose, you can say just like 100% increment or 150% increment. It works. It works. I'm surprised that it works, but it works. It works. So
Yeah. Yeah.
one of my friend got when they exited the company and then joined a new company, they have 2x 100% increment by practicing those tips. So yeah, it's not out there. It really depends on your bargaining position.
Yes, yes, that's true. Like whether they really want you as a candidate is a key point as well. And whether they want to like fight for you to have that amount and like fight for you to be there. It reminds me, like, I think having some friends as headhunters also really help. So, or like, because then they can actually give you like the salary range. Like when I told one of the headhunter what my range is, she was like, okay, this is what I think it is. Like it's fair or not. Yeah.
That's helpful, especially you've been in Glints, right? At least someone will know,
Yeah, yeah.
or you know other headhunters.
It's other
Oh,
headhunters, also husbands, yeah.
you only use headhunters when looking for new opportunities,
No,
or you
not
apply it yourself.
not only headhunters, but I think it's always good to, what's that? Increase the number of acquisition points.
The top funnel, yeah.
Yeah, the
Increase the
top
top
funnel.
funnel.
Yeah, it's the top of the funnel. And headhunters are super useful because they would like fight for you, they would prep
Yeah,
you and things like that. So it's actually really always good to have like multiple headhunters helping you.
yeah, this is a good comment that really depicts what I said earlier. After doing meeting, you then discuss what they said and mean.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that's why maybe I understand written culture maybe is better because it's written and you you can just read it.
Yeah, that's true. Especially, I also remember Ross, right? He was you work with Ross at
Sorry.
Glen. You work with Ross at Glenn's?
No, not that much. I don't have any chance to work with him closely.
Yeah, he was. I think he was quite. He was like working on his English communication. But what I found is that he's a bit more shy in meetings to speak verbally, but his written communication is very, very, very good. And you can it's just very understandable, very clear, and like very, very, very amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so there's people like that, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting. Hazel. So next question. I'm moving to the last few minutes. Um, what are you working on now as a PM, and
Mm-hmm.
why are you working? Is that your choice, or you got there by accident, or by, yeah, not by design? What are you working on? What your area of PM expertise lah?
Oh, well, my area of piano expertise, not my specific like project right now.
No, not your, just the general area.
Ah, okay, okay. So I think so. My general area of expertise so far was building products from 0 to 1, and that was not really by choice. It was more by chance, right? So when I first joined as PM, I was like improving one of our employer products, and then I had the opportunity to build this career discovery platform from scratch. And then there, it also led me to build other things like the Glint's expert class product. And then because I had the expertise, then I wanted to build the fintech product at Delivery Hero as well. So that's so far. And it's very exciting because, you're trying to figure out the product market fit, trying to understand the users first, and you need to acquire a lot of base users. So now I'm moving on, and it's more. It's like I had a choice of like which product team I want to join recently. So I knew that I want to still work in B2C and actually on a non-fintech product and something that's like 1 to 10. So I had this, yeah,
Why not fintech? Why not fintech?
non-fintech because my experience is just I think fintech. I realize that fintech is not. I don't find it that interesting, and there are a lot of like regulations and compliance related things to think about. So I'm like, okay, let me go back to doing the usual B2C stuff.
Okay, okay. But yeah, for me myself is also, so I found myself wanting to move to fintech.
Mm,
I've not been doing fintech, right? In Tokopedia, I'm not doing fintech. I'm doing more kind of like a platform and top funnel acquisition.
yeah,
But I've been wanting to move to fintech, and that is now realize I'm working in a bank, right? Digital bank, and then
yeah.
the next office I'm moving to is also a fintech. I find it interesting, but yeah, there's a lot of problem in regulatory requirements and stuff. But it kind of balance it out for me, yeah, because it forces you to slow down and
Yeah.
give you a valid reason to the founders that you cannot speed this up. So yeah. And the space is really interesting because it's growing so quickly, right? That's for me. For you, you wanted to work on B2C, and then 0 to 1. Is it still 0 to 1 up till now? Because when you, oh, okay, so what's next for you, like, for next 5 years maybe?
Next 5 years. Next 5 years is hard to say, right? Yeah, but I think, yeah. For the next coming years is I'm working on like the 1 to 10. So I'm working on the subscriptions product right now. So we have a good number of base users, and it's more like growing and retaining those users. So it's still like the retention piece that I worked on at Glint, but we have like a lot of users, and it's a lot more markets, right? Because at Glint I was just working on one. Now it's like APAC and EU, so I think quite a different and exciting challenge.
Oh, you work also for EU market from
Yes,
Singapore.
yes,
Oh, that's really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there a lot of difference between the market in Southeast Asia and in EU?
Wow. So
Have you?
I haven't officially started on the EU part yet because we are still launching that. But I think one interesting thing that I found out is how there are more like with the GDPR regulations in EU,
Mm,
and they value more like the privacy and things like that, and the fairness to consumers. We had this thing like indicating how what's the minimum order value is a requirement in EU.
Oh,
Yeah, and so we have to add that in the design. So we and like as product people, of course we're happy, right? You're being transparent to the users, but in APAC it's not a requirement, and so like it's not added in the designs here. So I'm gonna be interested to see what other nuances there are in the coming year.
okay, okay, that's interesting. If you ever come to Jakarta, especially solo, I don't live in Jakarta anymore. Do come and visit. Have you visited Yogyakarta, Hazel?
No, not yet. That's one of the places I haven't been to.
What? Why?
Yeah.
You should visit.
I don't. Yeah, I heard it's very nice. So you're there now. You're in Jogja now.
I'm near Jogja. Solo is a city near Jogja. So yeah, it's only like 1 or 2 hours from here.
Oh, nice.
Come visit lah. When you have time, come visit. Let's catch up. And let's just catch up. Maybe bring Rahel if she ever comes back.
Yeah, I think convincing her to come back to Indonesia will be a lot easier than than coming back to Singapore. So yeah, we will. I think I would also love to meet everyone again in Jakarta. Last year, I met a couple of people in Bali. A couple of
Oh really?
ex-Green colleagues.
Steve is in Bali right now, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You met him?
yeah. I met Steve. I met Theo. I met F. Quite a few people.
Okay, cool. I think that's it, Hazel. Thanks a lot for spending the time with me. I got to practice my English a lot. I got far more comfortable than when I started just now, and it's really really nice to see you again. Hope we can keep in contact. And yeah, hope you don't mind if I ever invite you to chat again in the future.
Yeah, and definitely ping me again. And thanks so much for inviting me. I think your English was perfect. uh, yeah, and you'll be more comfortable over time. And I hope to speak to you again soon.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Hazel. Bye bye. Good
Thanks,
luck
Ryan.
and
Thank you.
see you in Indonesia.
Yes, good luck and see you.
Bye bye.
Bye.